Say you're thinking about starting a podcast and you need some theme music, but you're not a musician and you don't want to pay someone on Fiverr to create a song for you. You can create a song for your podcast or anything using an iOS app. And I'm going to show how to do it on the iPad here because of the larger screen, but it works just as well on an iPhone. The app you'll need to download is called Figure, which you can see right here. Let me open it up. This is what you're greeted with. Up in the top left, Ali Hoopa is the creator of the app, which will become important later on in this video. But for now, what you're going to do is just create a song by clicking New. And start with an empty song. And you can see it changed the word down here, Mapepa. So it creates the new song, and it just gives you some random sounds for you to play with. So what you're going to do is look down at the bottom at Pattern, click on that, and it brings up your drums. And each of these blue bars is a different drum sound. Kick, little clap, some hats, some toms. So there's your drum. The way the app works is you hold down on a bar and it'll play the different notes. Now, right here, that number 4, that's telling you it's going to play 4 kick sounds in one bar. This one is 2. It's going to be half as frequent. Now you can change this by clicking the number and dragging if you wanted to. You can see it plays 7, but they're a little bit syncopated and a little bit off. And what you can visualize that in this circle as it spins around, the length of the bar on the arc of the circle tells you how long the beat's going to be. And it generally generates that for you. You don't have to worry about that. But it's always going to be in time with each other. So if I hold down 2 at the same time, cool. So I'm going to put it back to what it generated automatically for me. You don't really need to change these numbers at the top, but I just wanted to explain what they were. And it's always going to be what you need in terms of lining up the beats. You're never going to play a wrong note, essentially. You could by just tapping it. So I can hold this down, which is in the correct time. So you could make whatever sounds you want. They don't have to be on the beats, but I think holding it down will get you in the correct timing every time. You might have noticed that I got a little bit of a different sound by going on this part of the blue bar under hats compared to that. So you can drag your finger and see some different sounds. Sometimes the app divides the blue bars in half. Sometimes it divides it into thirds. And you can also change things by sliding up and down sometimes. Let me see what it looks like for hats. Yeah, it's a little bit softer a hit. It starts to get a little bit more intense. So you can play around by dragging. Sometimes they have this effect. Yeah, you can really hear it there. So you can put your finger somewhere in the box and try and figure out what works best for you. It's not super important to change things. But what I'm going to do is hit record by I'm just going to hold down straight in the middle of all 4 blue bars. So by hitting record, it arms the track to be recorded. Once I hit play, you're going to see a red bar move across the top showing that it's actually recording at this part of the song. Each one of these is a quarter note, and this is 1 bar, and then this is 2 bars. So you have 2 bars worth of music up at the top to record. We're going to record 2 bars worth of music, but then we're going to make it longer, and I'll show you how to do that. It's going to automatically duplicate everything you do for a longer song to use in your podcast. So I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to hold down these 4 blue bars, and it's just going to record what I held down. See how it's off? It's going to sync it up, and the next time it goes around. There we go. Automatically fixed it when the red bar at the top got to the start again. So it records the last thing I did. If I moved these things around, it would have kept track of what I was doing. So there's your drum beat. Pretty straightforward, no big deal. I'm going to stop recording. Still plays what I recorded. I can fiddle around with this and see if I want to change anything, but then it snaps back to what's recorded. Say you didn't like what you did, you can hit record and say erase mode. And you could say, clear this one. I don't like the snare clap that I recorded. It would delete it. Or clear all of them and just start completely over. So right now I'm in erase mode, but I'm going to not erase that. So if you made a mistake, that's how you get back, is hit record and then erase mode. Okay, next up is your bass. Gives you a wobbler sound. It generates kind of random, whatever bass sounds it likes. And it's playing 9 notes in the bar, and they're kind of this weird syncopated pattern as you go around the circle. This range is showing you how many notes. This is like a keyboard. How many notes are in your keyboard? It has, each dark bar is an octave of the note moving up. So we have one root, another one, and another one. So we have 2 octaves spanning 3 root notes. This number 3 is telling you how many notes per octave. 1, 2, 3. I get to the next octave. 1, 2, 3. And then this is the next octave up, but I don't get that full octave worth of notes unless I do what I just did, which is click and drag up and down to make it bigger or smaller. And I could add more notes in my octave. Maybe you can guess how many, up to 7, right? Because the octave, you got 8 notes, so it's the root and then 7 more, or down to 3, what it had before. I'm going to go back to default just to show you. You don't have to change this stuff. I'm just showing you everything that this thing can do. Let me play what my my drum track was. I think that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to go from here to here. I'm going to hit record. I'm going to let it go back around again. So I got that little hiccup right at the beginning. I think it's fine. Cool. I'm done. That sounds good to me. So drums, bass. Next up is the lead. Got a chainsaw. I don't know what this is going to sound like. Let's see. Okay, cool. It's a little synth note. And same deal with the range. How many notes are in your keyboard here and how many notes per octave, essentially. In the lead, it's kind of this high-pitched note thing. You can come up with a little melody if you'd like, or you can kind of just drag it around and get some random notes that are going to be in key because the thing it doesn't let you play a wrong note. It automatically makes everything in the right key. So I got my bass, my drums, now to record the lead. Sure. Don't really know what I'm doing, but it's poking around everything in the correct key. That's what I've recorded. Now, we got our track. What do you want to do with it? There's a few things we can change. We can go into each one of these has this other tab, tweaks. So we've created the pattern. We could go in and change what each thing sounds like in this tweaks bar down here. So let me play the notes. What I'm going to do is adjust either the filter, the delay, or this FACAP. I don't know what that is. But what you have are these axes, the vertical saying resonance, the horizontal saying cutoff. This is changing some effect, and you can drag it around. So the filter effect on this lead instrument, you can change by dragging this thing around. Let me see what happens if I... So we got high resonance, low cutoff. Low cutoff, I think that means none of the notes are playing. The more cutoff, the more notes are cut out. The more frequencies are cut out of each note. It's a different size cutoff. Ooh, we got kind of like a laser effect going. Okay, I'm going to record this, and just to show you what you can do, you can drag your finger around. And it records what you did with your finger. So I'm off record mode. If you didn't like it, you can hit erase, go into erase mode and say clear all. I'm not going to do that though. All right, stop. What's this delay? So you get this kind of like echoey thing. I think it was dead center. I think it's just off. Yeah, I don't need that. I don't want the delay. What is this thing? It's distortion. What I typically do to play around with these things is I actually drag it and just go to the corners, because that'll give you like the strongest effect of whatever you're playing with, and you can see what range you have to get a different sound. Okay, so that's good enough for me. I'm going to go into the global tab now. So you could do that for each instrument. So the bass, add wub, and the effects. You can go through the drums, trap and step. I don't know. You can play around with this for hours. I don't typically touch much in the tweaks, but sometimes I didn't really like that lead sound, and I did want to get it a little more interesting. So global is now your whole song, and this is where you recorded 2 bars worth. So the number of tick marks, that's 1 bar, and then out to the second bar. Make it longer. Make it 8 bars. Don't record 8 bars because that's kind of hard to be consistent. What it did is it just duplicated what I did, what I recorded previously. So that was 1 bar. Here's to the second bar. So this is the end of my recording, and what the app does is it just duplicates it and makes it 4 times as long. And I don't have to do anything. The reason I do this is because when I go to export this track, I don't want to export this, which is probably like 10 seconds worth of stuff. I want 40 seconds worth of a song. That way I can use it in my podcast and use it to be played under some intro conversations or words, spoken words, on top of this 40-second track, 40-second long track of music. What else can you do in this? You can change the key. Right now we're in G major. We're in the key of G, and we're playing in the G major scale. You can play in the key of G, get into an E minor scale, and it transposes everything for you automatically. I think I'm good with the G major scale. It's fine. You can change the key. You can change the key if you want. The shuffle is kind of just this like rhythmic effect. It gets really messy when you turn up the shuffle all the way. If you turn it down, it's just a straight, everything's on the beat. Let's put up a little shuffle. I think that's what it was before. Obviously, tempo changes to tempo, make it faster or slower. Whoops. I think that's what it was. Nice and slow. I like it. What does this do? This is on right now. Let me turn it off, on. If I go into something like, let's go to bass. I was showing you that you could press your finger anywhere. If you hold down 2 notes, the arpeggiator bounces them back and forth. If I hold down 3, the arpeggiator bounces between them, and it knows which order you put your fingers down. So if it's 1, 2, it'll bounce there. 3, it starts with the middle, and then to the ring, and then to the index. If I put my pinky down, it plays that one last, and it goes through all 4 of those in the order you press them. And I don't think you can't do 5. I think that's the limit, though. It is bouncing up to that 5th note. I can't do 6, though. So that is what this arpeggiator switch does. If I turn it off, I try and play 2 notes, it just plays the last one I pressed. It's not playing this first one, unless I press it again. Usually I keep that on because it's kind of fun to do like a lead. You can just kind of bounce around all the notes. All right, that's the global track, and make sure before you finish, you make the song 8 bars in length. The mix, you can turn up the drums or the bass, whatever you like. Let's do no bass. Let's get the bass really loud. It's nice actually if you're messing with the tweaks function, you can mute the other 2 tracks and only hear the one you're messing around with, so you can really hear what you're doing. And all right, I think we're done with that. Now, I'm done with it. Let's save it. It's saved to my iPad as a track, but I want to export it. Eventually, you want the MP3 file, or I think it's MP3, that you can download from the Ali Hoopa website. So what you're going to do is hit this button on the top right, little arrow going into a circle, and I'm going to add it to my account. And what I've already done is create an account. If you haven't, it'll bring up the Ali Hoopa website, and it'll ask you to create an to create an account. Let me show you. I should be able to switch. Yeah, so it goes to alihoopa.com within the app, and it asks you to join now or log in. So I already created an account. You can create it with email or Google, whatever you'd like. But let me log back in. Cool. I'm in. Anyone can see this. It's up to you. I turned it off because Ali Hoopa is kind of like Instagram. It's like social media, but for music that people create on their different apps. They have a lot of different apps. Figure is one of them. I'm going to drop it unlisted. Boom. It's uploaded to the Ali Hoopa site. I can view it now. And I'm going to view it in the browser. So it opens Safari, and you can do this on your computer. You can go to alihoopa.com and log in. And what I'm going to do is click edit. Go to your track in your account and click edit. Now, it looks like there's nothing you can do except change the title or visibility. But this is actually a scrollable box. Scroll down to get audio file, right click save as. I'm on an iPad. On a browser on the desktop, you could do that. Right click and then save the MP3 file. I think you can share it if you wanted to download it and put it somewhere like save to files. Put it in Google Drive or iCloud or something like that. On your iPad, there's a few folders that are already there. But you can put it somewhere as an MP3 file. But let's hear it. Let's see how long this is also. Yeah, 44 seconds. So I got a 44-second track. And how does it fade out? Because the app just kind of makes its own fade outs. Can I skip ahead? No, I cannot. How about that? So I had this kind of echo natural decay of the song, which I think is nice. It does that kind of randomly. Makes up its own whatever ending. Whoa. Hey, let's not listen to this song. I'm done. I don't know what's playing right now. How about go away? Sorry about that. Okay, so you got your song. How long did that take? I don't know. That was maybe 20 minutes, something around there. Just to show you, I play around with this all the time. And the podcast that I created originally was for my wife's Academics Mean Business podcast. This is that song that we used for that podcast. I can open it up and show you what it looks like if you're interested. Me just holding down my finger. That's it. One note. Look at, I don't do much on this song. It's a little jump and then back to the root right there. The drums. So in the recording that I showed you, I did a lot of stuff. I was playing every drum. I was playing all over the place on the bass. I don't know, maybe I went back and forth between two notes. The lead I kind of just dragged around. You can get much more edited down, I'd say, and use fewer instruments to get whatever sound you'd like out of this. So that's it. There is your podcast theme song using the Figure app. And again, click up there to export, and then you download your MP3 from the Ali Hoopa website. And that's it. Hope you found this useful. Take care.